I am Lady Von Black. I run Lady Von Black Curiosities, and I am a natural history preservationist. I specialize in traditional taxidermy, entomology, skeletal articulation, and wet specimen preservation. Well, it started when I was really young. I started collecting bones and I would go hiking. That's my favorite thing, is to go hiking. I would find bones, I would find moss, and I would bring them home and want to know how to get them to that museum quality white. Once I started getting more bodies and once people started realizing this is what I do, they start bringing me stuff, they start giving me other things. I focus on animals that are naturally deceased, that die on their own. I find things, like I'll pick up roadkill, stuff like that. I've had a lot of people tell me, there's nobody else around that does weird things like this. I have to order my stuff from either China or the UK, which has a pretty good natural history selection, but there isn't too many people out there that do what I do. And there are other people that work with bones in St. Louis, but not that do a natural history feel to it. I think the antiques that I add to it and the more natural elements that I add to it, like when I was a hobbyist, I definitely just got people calling me weird all the time. Now that I've progressed more towards this real staple brand, I think people are a little bit more accustomed to it. They're okay with it now. Well, I love creating the whole piece. I love being able to look for the antiques to display them on. I love being able to build the piece and make it look like it's still alive and honor its life truly. Like that's my favorite part, and that it'll teach children that, look at this cool thing, they can mean something, and it really pushes the ladder down. Like once something I create, it is eye grasping, people will go to it and it'll make them think about the nature and the animals themselves. It'll make them really feel something, and that's what I want. I mean, it's not as gross as you would think. It's not as bloody when you're skinning an animal, but it still can get pretty gnarly. And like my domestic beetles, even though they eat the flesh in about a week at the most, but it still kind of smells. So and they themselves have a smell. So you have to deal with certain stuff, and that's why I have the basement studio. It's all down there so that all of it collects. I really love animals. I actually don't even eat meat. So I really care about these animals that I'm working with. It's not just for a monetary gain. I mean, if you saw my prices, you would see that it was not for just a monetary gain. It is definitely for the love of the animal and for the love of nature and for the love of getting it to children and getting it to other, even adults that maybe have never thought about the fact that what they do affects the world around them, that it doesn't just affect them, and that this little life was here and it's not here anymore, and maybe it'll make you think a little bit about your life and be a little bit more grateful. And I think death makes people uncomfortable because it does make them think about not being here anymore, but I think it should make them feel more just grateful, just feel grateful that you have life. I got an email recently about someone's finger. They got it ripped off in an accident, a fishing accident, I believe they said, and they want to preserve it, and I'm just waiting on them to bring it to me, so.
Oh, there's no legality binding on that, or?
No, as long as they can have it and it's not useful. It can't be reattached. So it's okay. As long as it can't be reattached, there's no biohazards to it. But if it could have been, then they wouldn't have let me take it. They would have tried to reattach it. But yeah, so they just have it in their freezer waiting for me.